I come to you today with the ultimate question. Does the perfect video game exist? No. Okay. Here's the real answer. No. Video games are made by imperfect people. Therefore, it is impossible for one video game to be perfect, for there to be no flaws or no problems with a video game at all, for there not to be something frustrating or annoying about that video game, or maybe even just a section of a video game. No matter how perfect we may think a video game is, there's always at least one little level that's extremely annoying, or there's one moment in the video game that just doesn't quite sit right. There's always going to be something about a video game that is just imperfect. But we do have video games that we might consider perfect, or at least nearly perfect. What are those video games? Also, with the nature of video games, just like any other art form, everything is preferential.
In 2008, one of Malievich's abstract works sold for $60 million.
Depending on what we prefer, what we like the most, and what I like might not be the same things that you like. What I prefer in my video games might not be the same stuff that you prefer. What I get annoyed by in a video game might not be the same stuff that you get annoyed by. So it's all different. It's all preferential. So a certain video game for me might be perfect, and for you, it might have a bunch of problems, or it might just not quite be perfect. You might really like it a lot, but you might not love it the same way I do. And further still, you know the saying, one man's trash might be another man's treasure.
This is a good biscuit. I've never tasted a biscuit this delicious. Where in town can I get these?
I baked them myself.
I'm looking at you, Deadly Premonition, you perfectly terrible video game.
That's amazing. What are you doing in law enforcement? I'm very particular about biscuits, I'll have you know. The balance of milk and butter you've achieved here. Oh my.
With so many great video games out there and so many different people with different tastes, preferences, and gaming palettes, there's no way we could ever all agree on which games are essentially perfect. But guess what? That's the great thing about opinions. We don't all have to agree. We can all still be friends and enjoy this incredible medium that is video games. Just because that I think Halo is one of the most overrated video game series of all time doesn't mean that I think that you're an idiot for loving Halo 3 and thinking that it's nearly perfect. What? Oh, you do think that I'm an idiot for thinking that about the Halo series. No, it's okay. It's fine. So come on in and allow me to talk about the video games that I think are nearly perfect. And please, you come on in and talk about the games that you think are nearly perfect, and then we can all get in the comments like one big happy family and lambast each other for our differing opinions. So come on. Number one, my favorite nearly perfect video game of all time is a funny choice because this one is not rated high compared to the, quote unquote perfect video game. But for me, it's Fallout New Vegas. This game is nearly perfect in every way for me. I absolutely adore this game. I have played Fallout New Vegas multiple times over. I think I've actually played a full playthrough of this game 4 or 5 times, and it's usually about 150 hour playthrough, and so I've spent a ton of time in this game just enjoying and loving this game world and the gameplay mechanics and the writing and the quests. It's my favorite kind of game, where I can just go and explore and forge my own adventure and path. And my love for this started, I talked about this in my last video, with Fallout 3. And then Obsidian came in and developed their own Fallout game from the pieces of what Fallout 3 put together, what Bethesda put together with Fallout 3. And they just knocked it out of the park. And in my opinion, Fallout New Vegas, and in many gamers' opinions, Fallout New Vegas is the greatest modern Fallout that has been released. And it's funny because on Metacritic it's only sitting at an 84, and it's not one of the highest games of all time, while Fallout 3 is at a 93 overall. Most gamers would agree that Fallout New Vegas is just the superior Fallout. And man, I have, just like I said, sunk so many hours into this game and had so much fun. It's truly, you get to role play whatever kind of character you want to be. Do you want to be super evil? Do you want to be this perfect white knight that comes in and saves everyone? Or do you want to be kind of this gray area character? That's one of my favorite characters to play, where you just kind of decide what benefits you the most in the given moment and make your decisions accordingly. There's so many things to get involved in this game. The exploration is unmatched. I still have never played a game. This includes Fallout 3 and Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas. Bethesda's way of letting you explore and putting every nook and cranny full of something to find and experience is just unmatched in their exploration. It's why one of the huge reasons why I cannot get enough of these games, in this game in particular. Man, I love it. So for me, Fallout New Vegas is practically perfect. My number 2 choice for another nearly perfect video game is the Mass Effect Trilogy.
Say goodnight, Manuel.
And I'm just going to talk about all of these games kind of in one bunch. The definitive experience with these games is that you play all 3 of them that culminate into one big story. And I do hold the consensus, like most people do, that Mass Effect 2 is the ultimate Mass Effect experience out of the 3 games. But man, this whole trilogy is just nearly perfect in every way. It's gaming gold. The best thing about these games, and what I love the most about them, is the story and the characters. I have never played any other video game that has a more perfect cast of characters than the Mass Effect trilogy.
Impressive. You certainly know how to make an entrance.
And I'm sure that is debatable, that many people could come to me and say, oh, this game has a better cast of characters, or this series. But for me, the characters that I've connected with more than any other video game is the Mass Effect trilogy.
Get out of here, Shepard!
The writing that BioWare put together for this is incredible. It literally rivals movies and television series. The writing and the way that they connect each character with each other, and the way that you come together to form this team that just goes and saves the galaxy over and over again. It is just incredible stuff. This series is just nearly perfect for me, and I'll never forget the first time I played this, and even the last time in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Honestly, I might have had more fun the last time I played it just a few months ago all over again when the Legendary Edition came out than I've ever had with this series. That just tells you, to me, it tells me just the incredible power that this game has.
Not sure if Turian heaven is the same as yours, but if this thing goes sideways and we both end up there, meet me at the bar. I'm buying.
Next, I want to talk about Bioshock. Man, this game is just so fantastic. I remember when I first played this, when this came out, and I was still just a preteen, and the way that this game just absolutely sucked me into its world.
I chose the impossible. I chose rapture.
I could not escape. Rapture is one of the most incredible settings of any video game I have ever played, and that was really my favorite thing about the game. Obviously, there's so many things to love about Bioshock. The gameplay, the incredible ideas that the game presented and went with through the story and the characters, the plasmids that you can throw around, but the world. Being in the world of Bioshock was just one of the most incredible experiences I had ever had, and it still is one of the greatest video game settings ever. It's crazy to me that this game is over 10 years old at this point, and the gameplay and the story and the setting and even the graphics still hold up today. Man, they just don't make them like this anymore, with the creativity and the ideas that they went for in this game, and they nail everything. It's unbelievable. Every bit of this game is nearly perfect.
Was a man sent to kill, or a slave? A man chooses. A slave obeys.
The next nearly perfect game for me is The Last of Us. This game is so incredible. The thing about this game that is nearly perfect in every way for me is the cinematic storytelling that this game offers. I've never played another game that captures the cinematography and the way that the story is told and the way that these actors portrayed these characters and just acted these characters is unbelievable. In my opinion, better than most Hollywood movie productions. The emotional weight and the gravitas in some of the situations and the way these characters and these actors portray these people in these situations that they go through. There's so many different emotions throughout the story and the ride that this game takes you on. It's second to none in video game storytelling and better than most TVs and movies that I've ever watched. And they nail it all the way through from beginning to end. And I'm not going to spoil stuff for you here, but if you've never played the game, if you haven't, you got to go play it. Because the way that this game handles character storytelling and the way that it doesn't fumble any of that stuff and the way that it ends, it's literally the perfect ending. I mean, it's amazing. And so you gotta play The Last of Us if you haven't. It's nearly perfect.
Okay.
At number 5, and my last choice for the nearly perfect video game, is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And I could almost put every single one of these Splinter Cell games on here. Yes, even Conviction, this whole series is just nearly perfect in every way for me. And it is absolutely my most desired game to come back and give us a sequel. Gosh, I miss Splinter Cell so much. And it's nearly perfect. The way that you embody the boots of Sam Fisher in this game is fantastic. And actually, Sam Fisher, the character that Michael Ironside brings to life, is my singular favorite video game character of all time. He's so complex. One minute he can be snarky and sarcastic, and the next he can be absolutely self-serious and all about his business. His dark humor is fantastic in many situations, but he also is extremely heartfelt and cares about the people around him, even though he's supposed to be this older, hardened military man that is now, a secret agent that saves the world multiple times over. He's got a heart to him under that gruff exterior. The level design of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is incredible and nearly flawless in every way. Yes, they are linear, but sometimes linear games are better, and I think the modern video game industry needs to hear that. We need to get more linear, story-focused, incredibly designed video games that aren't just massive open world, check the box off kind of video games that exist these days that seems to be the most popular kind of trend to chase. Give us linear video games that just have an extremely tight focus, and that's one of the things that I love the most about Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. It just has this focus, this laser focus of it being an incredible stealth, story-driven, character-driven video game, and just wants to make you feel like the ultimate silent ninja spy, and I absolutely love it.
My name is Sam Fisher, and I am a Splinter Cell.
So those are my 5 choices, and I only have 5 choices because I have other games. Like I could do a top 10 list, a top 20 list of my favorite games of all time. But when I sat down and thought about this, I could only think of those 5 games that I would say, in my opinion, are just nearly perfect. There's only so many games that you can say are nearly perfect. And those 5 for me are the ones that I would say are nearly perfect games that I've played throughout my life. What games would you say? Would you have 5 games? Would you have 10 games? 6, 7, 8 games? What one game maybe? What games would you say are nearly perfect for you in every way, and why? And what is the main thing that makes it almost perfect for you? I want to hear about that in the comments. And also, I want to say, if you enjoy this video, or if you've gone back and looked at some of the other recent videos that I've made and you're enjoying the content that I'm making, I'm doing my absolute best here. I just started this YouTube journey, and I would really love it. It would really help me out if you would go and you would subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get the notification every time I come out with a new video like this. That would really help me. I'm trying to grow this little channel to the best of my ability and make the absolute best gaming content that is good, thoughtful, and engaging for everybody. So like and subscribe if you would, and if you don't, that's okay. I still love you.
No matter what happens here, you know I love you. I always will.
I love you all, and I'll talk to you later.